Hey, welcome back. Nice to see you again. What's the biggest problem with our app so far? True, it's not much of a looker yet, but the fact that it answers yes for every question isn't very useful. Let's remedy that.
Yep.
What's that, Mike?
Oh, I was just playing with our crystal ball app. I really love it.
Oh, well that's good, but don't you think it needs a little work?
Nope, it's perfect. Watch this. Does Allison love me?
Mike, well, we're gonna fix that, but hopefully you still like it. Right, let's get back to our code, shall we?
Let's open up Eclipse and get back into our Crystal Ball project. We're going to write some Java code in our main activity, so let's open that up from the source directory in Package Explorer. Before we get started, let's start our emulator so that it will be ready when we want to test our app later. Click on the AVD Manager, select an emulator, and then click Start. Okay, I'm going to close the AVD window and come back to the main activity. Okay, so remember that when we tap the button in our app, the onClick listener detects the tap and then fires the code in the onClick method, here on line 25 and 26. This is the method we need to update because right now it's just returning yes every time. Let's take a look at this code and talk about how to change it. We're using a string variable called answer to hold our text answer, which we typed or hard-coded as yes. To make this dynamic, we need to change the answer variable based on some sort of randomization. Let's use some comments to give us a shell of what we hope to accomplish. This shell is what is known as an algorithm, albeit a very simple one in this case. Let's start by clearing out the yes text that we already assigned to our answer variable. Highlight and remove everything after answer and before the semicolon. Delete it, and now we're left with string answer. This leaves us with the variable answer declared as a string data type, but without any text assigned to it. Next, let's add a comment below this line that says, randomly select one of three answers, yes, no, or maybe. Then we'll add one more line above the answerLabel.setText line, update the label with our dynamic answer. That's really all there is to the heart of our app. We randomly choose an answer and then display it to the user. It won't be too many lines of code, but we need every letter and semicolon to be in the right place. Let's start by fixing the error Eclipse is telling us about on line 30. If we hover over it, IntelliSense tells us that the local variable answer may not have been initialized. That's because we declared answer on line 25, but never assigned anything to it. Now we'll assign yes, no, or maybe based on some sort of random chooser. But what if we forgot to set it or somehow do it wrong? Or worse, what if we had more than three choices and we assigned the variable correctly for, let's say, 99% of them, but forgot for the other 1%? Our app might crash for no good reason. To prevent this kind of error, it's usually a good idea to initialize your variables to some value right when you declare them. This initialization is the initial assignment of some data for the variable to hold. In our case, we're going to set the answer value when we randomly choose it. So instead of assigning yes to our variable like before, we can assign a blank text value. After answer and before the semicolon, type equals and two double quotes. These two double quotes, with nothing in between them, are what is known as an empty string, or a blank string. This means that our answer variable does in fact have some text, it's just that the text is blank. Okay, I think we've earned a little break. Let's review this with a code challenge before we continue.